Welcome into this beautiful day, Thursday, October 17th, 2024. 7 days until OpelkaCon at La Hacienda de los Barrios. You could win a gift certificate today, 14 days until Halloween, 19 days until the 2024 election, 42 days until Thanksgiving, 69 days until Christmas, and Charity, it is 246 days until the first day of summer 2025. Thank you, Mr. T. Tim Merriman, for that mathematics.
You feeling the chill in the air this morning, Chris? You like that 57 degrees, do you?
A little too chilly for me.
Yes, no, thank you.
My nose has been running. I've been sneezing left and right, so it's definitely stirred some stuff up. But otherwise, I had the back patio door open, even opened up some windows yesterday. It was fabulous. I was looking for excuses to be outside.
That was yesterday.
Uh-huh.
This morning, not so much. I just walked outside right before the show and went, nah.
Now, the good news outside, the full moon looks pretty amazing.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Hunter moon, is that what they call it? Super moon,
The
Hunter moon?
Biden moon? What are you saying?
No,
Got a
no.
crack in it?
Doing
It is white. I mean,
doing it with the Hunter moon. No moss. It looks like a laptop. All right. Let's get this party started with traffic and weather together.
Mixture of clouds and sun today. Highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloud skies. Highs in the low 80s. Saturday, some sun in the morning. Increasing clouds in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. 54 degrees in Floresville, Texas. 54 at Randolph Air Force Base. And 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 512.
San Antonio's first news, that is Mr. T. Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco flying the Millennium Falcon. Andrew and EJ today doing the YouTube stream, which is now up and running. For those of you scoring at home, if you are looking for it, go to 1200 WOAI and you can find it. Charity, one of the major stories in the last 24 hours, one of the many things we'll be talking about, Vice President Kamala Harris sits down with Bret Baier on Fox for a Fox interview. I don't think it was exactly a love fest.
No, and it wasn't expected to be. And depending on who you ask, it either went really well for the vice president or her campaign's over, if you're on the other side.
It's over.
Exactly. But I don't think she was trying to win over Fox News viewers. It was about those who maybe are not motivated to vote because they don't like either candidate. So I think it was just her attempt not to leave anything on the table. And maybe she convinced some people to come over to her side, 19 days out?
19 days out. And I thought that he cut her off a lot. I noticed that. He interrupted her when she was talking quite a bit. She handled her own.
Yeah.
She held her own.
Well, two things. One, I agree with you. Bret Baier interrupted her a lot and cut her off. That was probably by design. Secondly, she did, especially early on when he was asking her about immigration, he was asking her a direct question. He said, what is your estimate of the number of illegal immigrants that got across the border on your watch? She didn't give him the answer. She did what politicians do. She started talking about other things. And we've talked about this. It drives us crazy.
Yeah, apparently her aides quickly wanted to end that interview. They were waving after 30 minutes. Okay, cut, time to move on. Let's get out of here. But I don't think she did any damage to her campaign. I think it was an attempt to prove that she's brave enough to walk into non-friendly territory.
That is brave. Yeah, that is very brave.
I totally agree. And one of the first things Charity said, I think hardcore Republicans and MAGA people are going to see it through their lens and see it as a disaster for her. I think hardcore Democrats are going to say, yeah, she did well. The question is, people in the middle and the people who will decide this election, how do they think she did? That's what is very, very important here. We'll talk about that. Hey, OpelkaCon is a week from today.
Wow.
Mike Opelka coming to San Antonio. We've got a meet and greet at La Hacienda de los Barrios. We got a chance for you to win a $50
gift card
certificate
Wow.
to and maybe a card. I don't know if it's a card or a gift certificate.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
We'll flip back and forth on
Yeah.
card, certificate, whatever it is. It's $50 to eat there, and you can win it, and we'll tell you how coming up. WOAI News Time, 5:15. Good morning, everybody. Sorry we had a false start early. We're
Yes,
up and
we had
running.
to get things working for tomorrow.
Everybody found us. Thank you for that.
Yes.
RK, Sam, Kemper, Travis, Tracy Bogert, Sikapolin.
Tracy Boat. It's a great question, Sam. We might just have to bring the meth in. Kids staying up late again. Sam, I agree with you on that. I don't think management would frown on that as long as EJ got the job done.
Yes. Sikapolin leaving us. Sikapolin, have a good day.
Have a great one. Take care, man. Kemper, hello.
Good morning, Kemper.
RK, Sam, Rooster, Travis. I think that's everybody. I had to
RK.
boil water for coffee.
Did it the old-fashioned way, RK.
Yeah, no 5:15 for EJ tomorrow. You are correct, Travis.
Who is Liam Payne?
One Direction.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's that guy
No
that
idea.
fell off his balcony.
That's how he died? He fell off a
Mhm.
balcony?
Third story balcony in Brazil, I think.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Tim, we're going to try. We're going to try. That's why we had to restart this morning so EJ can learn how to get it all going.
Yeah, that's the plan, Tim.
Yes. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Do. Stand by, Chris.
All right. Just ahead of headlines, traffic and weather together, and then an opportunity for you to win a $50 gift certificate. I'm going to be going back and forth on that
it's the same
all
thing.
day to La Hacienda de los Barrios. And that's where 1 week from today, it'll be OpelkaCon with Mike Opelka in town for a meet and greet. Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, Trump and Harris continue to campaign at a fever pitch with 19 days to go until Election Day. The family of Brad Simpson continues to distance themselves as the search for his wife continues, and the pop music world is paying tribute to the late Liam Payne. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
It's going to warm up a little bit, but will there be any rain? We welcome in News 4 San Antonio meteorologist Jeanette Kaye. Good morning, Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette. 54 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 521.
San Antonio's first news. 1 week from today, October 24th, it'll be a Thursday, just like today, at La Hacienda de los Barrios, 2 p.m. It will be OpelkaCon, as our good friend Mike Opelka, who joins us every weekday morning at about 7:20 in the morning. He's a regular fill-in for Joe Pags and for radio stations and radio shows across the country. He returns, I think he's returning, Charity, for his Trinity University class reunion, among other things, and the unveiling of the Mike Opelka statue in front of Trinity University. And they may even change the name to Opelka University and surprise him. But we got a fun event planned.
Yeah, I can't wait. 2 to 4, and it's going to be amazing. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty huge turnout. I understand Louis Barrios is, flooding a lot of phone calls from people wanting to know more details, and we're finally unveiling those details. And some lucky listeners are going to get special $50 gift certificates, gift cards, whichever you may prefer. And it all comes down to making your case for why they want to go to OpelkaCon using the TalkBack feature on our free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, it's that simple. Plus, Eric Bowden, our good friend, who's going to be out there shooting portraits of veterans for absolutely free.
Yeah, we're going to have Eric on the show on Monday to talk more about this, but he takes portraits of veterans that are exquisite. You have to see them to understand how magnificent they are. And I just love that Eric does this. Eric, a veteran himself, and that he's honoring veterans from all eras, whether it's the Vietnam War era, whether it's the Gulf War era, whether it's modern day, World War II. There's still some of those heroes out there. So we're inviting all veterans. He will take your portrait for free. He was just at the big gathering of Medal of Honor winners.
Oh, that's so cool.
And taking portraits there. He's unbelievable. Charity's going to be there with the Charity McCurdy hugging booth. We're looking forward to that.
Something like that, yeah.
We got at least one
turn
person
into a Charity McCurdy fist bump booth.
Yeah, at least one person driving in from Arkansas just to get a hug from Charity McCurdy.
That's true.
Pretty exciting.
I'm so excited.
It's a long way to go.
Now, so Mr. T, how should we determine? And we're going to do this between now and Thursday. We'll do this for a few days, but just one today, one $50 shot at La Hacienda de los Barrios. How are we going to determine today's winner?
Sell us on why you want to be there, why you deserve that gift certificate, why you want to sit at the VIP table. Just sell us on it.
We didn't even mention that yet.
Yeah, well,
if you win the gift card or the gift certificate, you're sitting at the VIP table. You're sitting with Mike Opelka.
Woo!
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So cool. And I mean, Mike Opelka has so many stories.
Oh,
I
gosh.
I can't believe this is going to only be a 2-hour event. I mean, that's just a whole lot of excitement to cram into a couple of hours.
Yeah, actually, it's just handing him a microphone and we all sit back and listen.
Just let him go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just let him go.
Yeah.
Be very, very cool. So as Charity mentioned, go to the free iHeartRadio app, search 1200 WOAI. Look for that microphone button. That gives you 30 seconds to tell us why you want to go to OpelkaCon with that $50 of delicious Mexican food from La Hacienda
Starting
de
to get
los
hungry.
Barrios. Yes, I might have to head on over there after the show. Lots more coming up, including Charity McCurdy with all the big stories you need to know about on this Friday Eve morning. Right now, your Fox Business Report, WOAI News Time, 525.
And we're back. Well, that was weird.
And look at them. Kamala's apology.
Sorry,
to victims.
Teresa. I'm not hiding behind the mic. It's the camera setup in here. She says it makes it difficult, makes lip reading difficult.
You probably don't want to read our lips.
Yeah, sometimes you really don't.
Yeah, I am going to tweak it a little bit.
Oh, man, Kemper's not going to be able to be there.
Get out. Why not?
She's going to Maryland that day for a girls' weekend with her
no.
bestie in Maryland. She'd made
Bring the girls
plans
here.
long ago.
Bring the girls here.
That's a bummer. Hmm.
Well, Opelka may not come now. If
I know.
Kemper's
He
not
finds out
coming.
Kemper's not going to be there. He's going, you know what? Can we do it another time?
Yeah.
Can we just make it a different day when Kemper can be there?
Can we push this off to 2025?
Kemper, when will you be available so we can have the event? Wow. That was
Steve Duraco is in here.
The Rock.
I didn't see. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw Tim say rock hello. Good morning, Steve Duraco, the original rock. Welcome to polar bear weather.
Yeah, we're bummed too, Kemper. Well, let's not tell Opelka that she's not going to be there.
Yeah, Opelka will not.
We'll just let him know that day.
Opelka was really looking forward
Yeah.
to meeting Kemper.
Yeah, if we tell him now, he might
Yeah.
cancel on us. So let's not tell him. We'll just apologize profusely.
What do you say? She should be here any minute
Yeah,
now.
we're still waiting for her.
I know she'll arrive.
Yeah, where is she? Anybody seen her? No Polar Bear Club meeting?
No, not at this time. Soon though, Steve Duraco.
Well, when it gets colder, that makes more sense.
Yeah. The apology question was quite the trap.
Yes.
Because if you apologize, it's
Uh-huh.
you admitted guilt. It's your
Uh-huh.
fault. And if you don't apologize,
So you don't care.
you won't even apologize.
So you don't care. Yeah, didn't you survive a winter in Colorado Springs, Chris?
I survived 2 winters in Colorado Springs. So
That's
yes,
why he does not like cold, people.
Yeah. I
here
told
comes
people
Charity.
at the time.
Here comes Charity.
I'll tell you
everybody.
later.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, with 19 days to go, Trump and Harris make their pitch to undecided voters and the latest developments in the search for a missing mother of four. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80, tonight's low near 60, right now a chilly 55 degrees. The presidential election is growing closer and the race remains tight. Fox's Brett Baer sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris and the interview grew contentious when the two butted heads while discussing immigration policies.
It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the
finish?
Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
But you have to let me finish.
you had the
please.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Meanwhile, former President Trump focused on safety at an all-women town hall in Georgia with Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Former President Trump told female voters in Cummings, Georgia, the Border Patrol has endorsed him.
Law enforcement's with me 100%, and we have to keep our community safe.
He was asked by one grandmother what he'll do to keep transgender women and girls out of female sports.
Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban it. The president bans it,
He promised one mother that he'd end so-called sanctuary cities.
or I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out.
He confirmed his belief that a bigger problem than foreign adversaries is what he called the enemy within, namely Democrats who label him a threat.
They're the threat to democracy.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Biden administration could restrict military assistance to Israel if the country doesn't improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza within the next month. That's according to a letter sent to Israeli officials. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the U.S. must constantly check under law if Israel is directly or indirectly disrupting U.S. humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. They warned that any future military financing may be halted if it is. Well, the search for a missing San Antonio mother and realtor enters its 11th day. Eric Lycum brings us the latest.
Authorities confirm the search for Suzanne Clark Simpson is now a recovery effort as police continue to search for clues at a southeast Bexar County landfill. They believe they have the best chance to recover her body there. The husband, Brad Simpson, remains jailed in Bexar County on domestic violence and federal weapons charges and is still refusing to cooperate with police. His brother, Barton Simpson, speaking out on social media, says that's unacceptable and that the family is cooperating for him as they have been from the beginning. Barton Simpson says, quote, "This is not how we were raised and this is not who we are. Our parents instilled in us the values of honoring and protecting others, and they are truly remarkable people," unquote. The investigation continues. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A Texas House committee is issuing a subpoena to death row inmate Robert Robertson, whose execution is scheduled for today. The Texas House Committee on Criminal Jurisprudence unanimously voted yesterday to subpoena Robertson to assist them with their inquiry into his case. Robertson would be the first person in the nation to be executed for a shaken baby death. Courts have repeatedly rejected his appeals. The House Committee's move to forestall the execution execution is reportedly unprecedented. There are growing concerns that American military bases are being spied on by drone aircraft. It's something that Texas lawmakers were warned about at a hearing this week.
Citizens of the People's Republic of China have been using drones to fly over military bases and other sensitive sites at truly alarming rates.
Adam Klein, who heads the Strauss Center at UT Austin, called on state lawmakers to help local cops track down those who are flying the drones. That's because shooting down the drones is banned unless they pose a threat. Aerial snooping does not qualify. Drones started to appear over military bases back in December, triggering emergency White House meetings. Well, an English singer is dead after a fall in Argentina. Here's Fox's Michelle Polino.
One Direction singer Liam Payne has died after falling from the third floor of a hotel in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The British singer was part of an ensemble that included Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, Niall Horan, and Zayn Malik. Together, they became one of the best-selling groups of all time. The group signed with Simon Cowell's record label after they placed third in the UK on the singing competition The X Factor. In 2010, they were propelled to success from social media. The fame came quick, but after 5 albums in 2016, they went on indefinite hiatus. They all went on to successful solo careers. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
A Google site that tracks Halloween trends nationwide is listing the most popular costumes in San Antonio. The site called Friedgeist says the top 5 trending Halloween costumes in San Antonio this year are the Marvel anti-superhero Deadpool, the Frankenstein monster, an inflatable chicken, the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, and Jessica Rabbit from the 1988 movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And a new report shows the number of cyber attacks are staggeringly high. Here's Fox's Eben Brown.
Microsoft claims each day users of its products around the world are subjected to 600 million cyber threats. The figure is a key finding in Microsoft's Digital Defense Report for 2024, which says most of the culprits are nation-state actors seeking financial gain. But they've also been focusing on educational institutions, socially engineering victims into giving over login credentials. Cyber defense, though, is becoming more robust, using artificial intelligence to learn about and outwit the attackers. Eben Brown, Fox News.
It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, to check of your money and the world of business, we say good morning to John Tucker live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, John. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker at 6:48. With those were the days. He'll be in studio at 8:20, among other things. He'll give us Parker's picks, the college football picks for the weekend. We heard the report from Eric Lycum during the newscast, Charity's newscast at the bottom of the hour, the latest on the continued search for missing mother of four and realtor Suzanne Simpson of Almas Park. He read the posting by the brother of Brad Simpson, the husband of Suzanne, who is currently in jail. Bartlett saying that his brother was not raised, his parents did not raise that family to behave in the way he is behaving, not cooperating with police. You've got to wonder how much pressure behind the scenes, Charity, Brad Simpson's brother might be putting on him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the family, every family involved, has been dragged into this. But especially when we heard initial reports that Brad had called a member of his family apologizing for all the trouble he's caused. But now, because Brad Simpson is not cooperating with police, the family of Brad, his brother Barton, coming out and saying, you know what, this isn't how we were raised. It's not who we are. Our parents instilled in us the values of honoring and protecting others, and they are truly remarkable people. He's saying that it's just caused so much devastation for their family that it's overwhelming. And the fact that Brad is refusing to cooperate with police is unacceptable. And so now their family has stepped up to take care of Brad and Suzanne's 4 children. But the impact is just wide reaching when it comes to this tragedy. And they're saying they are not going to rest until they find Suzanne.
Let's hope that will be sooner rather than later. Now, they're still at that landfill. I believe they'll be back there again today looking. And I'm just wondering, and I guess I watch a lot of crime TV. I'm just wondering if they don't have cadaver dogs. You would think that would be something that might speed it up a little bit. I haven't seen any dogs in any of the coverage that I've seen. And I haven't read anywhere that they're using cadaver dogs at all.
Yeah, we see those SAPD cadets in the white hazmat suits, and that's a good question. And you just have to wonder, now they've been out. So 3 days so far. Is this day 4?
Yes.
That they've been out there at that landfill?
Yes.
My gosh, to not have found anything yet. Now, granted, I understand that landfill is very vast and requires a lot of searching. But if there's not something obvious, Charity, and if there is a body, you have to wonder, what was done to that body to put it in such a condition that it would not be easily found in a landfill.
And it seems like they're going all in this search area because they had indicated earlier this week it was specific evidence that led them there. So they have a pretty big team of searchers that include 25 Bexar County Sheriff's Office cadets wearing hazmat suits. So I imagine they will continue to be there until they find what it is they're looking for.
Lots more coming up. We will go back in time with Flashback. And coming up, you can win $50 to spend at La Hacienda de los Barrios. You can spend it during OpelkaCon. That's what we would certainly recommend. We're going to be there a week from today for OpelkaCon. We'll hear your talkbacks coming up. WOAI News Time, 545. Yeah.
And we're back. Wow.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Trevin. They are using Cadaver Dog, says
They
somebody.
are?
All right, thank you for that.
Haven't
Red
seen that.
Roddy's 14 says they are using Cadaver Dogs.
I know. Are you the
Hey,
same
Rooster,
sloppy drunk?
are you the same sloppy drunk that would frequent Chili's on 1604 and Bandera Road? Funny.
Wow. Captain Ducky.
Welcome in, Captain Ducky. Good morning. Menendez brothers, everybody.
Yeah.
Looking very stylish.
See, the last one coming in was wearing a wig. I learned that from watching Monsters.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you know he's wearing a wig?
Because he's bald.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
When he was growing up, he lost his hair, and they spent a lot of money to get,
I never knew that.
I didn't either until I started watching that Monsters.
Wow. So I always
Yeah.
thought he had funky hair.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a funky
why, because it ain't
hairstyle.
real.
Okay.
Now he's completely bald.
Wow. Teresa, Captain Ducky, Travis, Tracy Bogert, Tim, Trevin, Red Roddy's 14, Kemper, Frankie, welcome in. I didn't see Frankie earlier.
Yeah. Good morning, Frankie. Have a great day at work, Kemper.
Kemper, that was the worst news of the morning. That You're
Yeah.
not coming to OpelkaCon. We shouldn't publicize that because that'll
I know.
lower the attendance.
No.
Now Storyteller's definitely not coming.
Tell Kemper I said hello.
Frankie, good news. Your last treatment is Thursday.
That is awesome.
Captain Ducky, an officer involved shooting in Fredericksburg. I had not heard about that.
That sucks. I don't know, man, but that was a pretty good one, wasn't it? Kemper wants to know if Storyteller writes romance novels, but he should.
Yes, he should. Barton Tinsley Simpson is the executive director of institutional advancement at Alamo College's district.
Huh.
Like his brother, he went to Alamo. He went to Alamo Heights High School.
Mhm.
Went to Baylor. He's a Texas Cavalier. Friend of T.J. Connolly. Steve Fanning.
Man,
Arthur
that
Cavazos.
sucks. That sucks, Captain Ducky. Arthur Cavazos.
Yep. He's a friend of Arthur Cavazos on Facebook.
Wow.
I got 87 mutual friends with Barton Simpson.
Huh. I didn't know you and Bart Simpson were so tight, man.
Yeah, why doesn't he just go by Bart?
You know, you
Come
should.
on.
Oh,
This is interesting. Barton Simpson's father was killed in Vietnam flying an O-1 Bird
Wow.
Dog aircraft July 24th, 1966. Now, Brad Simpson is 53 years old.
That's-
They
yeah.
must have different fathers.
they must. Stand by, Chris. It's time to go back in time.
Okay.
That is different.
It is time to go back in time. But what year will we land in? See if you can figure it out. We'll try to figure it out. Let's play flashback.
Wow.
Mr. T, you're a big fan of twerking. Do you
Yes,
know,
huge
was it
fan.
2011, 2012, or 2013?
When in doubt, go with the middle one. I have no clue.
Charity, 2012?
Sure. I don't know.
All right, I'll go with 2012. Let's find out.
Oh, bummer. And no, EJ just said that it's hard to twerk to that song. I don't know.
That would be a tough song.
Is that a tough song?
I
to
would
try?
imagine.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not a twerker myself, but EJ might be.
Yeah, he is.
Charity, what stories are you following?
Early voting begins today in North Carolina as Trump and Harris continue to hold multiple campaign appearances. Military City, USA is finally getting a nonstop flight to D.C., and former One Direction singer Liam Payne has died at the age of 31 after falling from a hotel balcony in Argentina. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today. Highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy. Highs in the low 80s. Saturday, sun in the morning. Clouds in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. It is 45 degrees in Kerrville, Texas. 53 in New Braunfels and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI news time is 5:54.
San Antonio's first news. We get kind of a zen-like silence.
Yes.
That we like to kind of come into. 1 week from today is OpelkaCon. Mike Opelka will be in town. Your chance to meet and greet Mike Opelka at La Hacienda de los Barrios. We will have the Charity McCurdy hugging booth. And we're asking veterans. We've got an amazing photographer, Eric Bowden, a friend of the show. We'll have him on the show, in fact, on Monday. He will be taking portraits of veterans for free. They are magnificent portraits. We'll tell you more about those certainly by Monday. But we've got $50 for you to spend at La Hacienda de los Barrios. It's a gift card, a gift certificate, a gift voucher. It's $50.
It's Los Barrios bucks.
Los Barrios bucks.
That's a whole lot of cheese enchiladas and my personal favorite, carne guisada.
I love
now you're really getting me
everything.
hungry.
It is. I am not saying this just to say. It is my favorite Mexican restaurant in San Antonio. The food is great.
Atmosphere.
The patio is spectacular. Louis Barrios, the whole Barrios family, they know how to do it. Before we go to the talkbacks, Charity, we're asking people, tell us why they want to go to OpelkaCon, why they should have the $50 of Mexican food there. How do they tell us that, Charity?
The free iHeartRadio app, of course, download it if you don't have it already. When you get it, open it up and search 1200 WOAI. Look for that red circle. That's the talkback button. You hit it. You have 30 seconds to make your case why you got to go to OpelkaCon.
Yeah, and so far the bar is set really, really low. Here is RK.
Good morning, RK here. All right. I'm going to tell you, this is just another reason to ride the hog, and I wouldn't miss that charity hugging booth for the world. You'd have to chop off my clutch fingers. Anyway, everybody have a beautiful charity hugging weekend. Bye, y'all.
I love it. RK, everybody.
Let's not cut off his clutch fingers, please.
No.
Let's not.
No violence, please. Yes.
No violence. All right, here's our favorite school teacher.
Hey guys, Stephen from Model. I'm not able to go to OpelkaCon next Thursday. I already have plans, but I do have a couple of autumn jokes. If you want to use them or not, that's okay. What's the best thing to put into pumpkin pie? Your teeth. How did the tree feel when it realized it was autumn? Disbelief. Disbelief. Leaf, yeah. Okay. Have a good day.
Nice.
Cute.
Too bad you can't go.
I know, man.
Even that you could
That's
have
a
been in the
bummer.
running.
It'd been like open mic night for him, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could have just given him the mic. He could have done all these jokes for Opelka. Would have been huge.
Man,
would have been huge.
Could have been an opener. Yeah.
All right. Lots more coming up. We'll play more of your talkbacks. Coming up, we'll talk about the sit down yesterday on Fox between Brett Baer of Fox and Vice President Kamala Harris. That and why can't we shoot down Chinese drones over American military installations? Lots coming at you. WOAI News Time, 5:57.
And we're back.
Woohoo! Okay, now, so I have heard Brad Simpson is 53 and she was 51. I'm gonna have to check that out now.
Yeah.
Because Barton's father died in 1966, and that is 58 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Teresa, have a great morning and bottoms up.
Thanks,
Here's to
Teresa.
you.
Now,
so it's got to be a stepdad, right?
but if you had a stepdad, or if you
Oh,
had,
yeah,
if you had another dad,
Different name.
wouldn't his name not be Simpson?
Unless you married another Simpson.
Possible.
That's weird though, isn't it?
It is real weird. I'm double checking his age now.
I think you're right on the age though. All right, I've got audio, by the way. Okie doke.
Sure.
The difference between Biden's administration and
53.
hers is what she's talking about.
Okay. So okay.
Here, you want to hear it real quick?
Sure.
All right, we're back for a little bit. Thank you for your service, RK.
Oh, RK's got to get a portrait.
Yeah.
At Opelka.
Come out there and get your portrait taken, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right, here comes Charity, everybody.
$6 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, we'll have the latest from the campaign trail. An important nonstop flight is finally coming to Military City, USA. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80. Tonight's low near 60. Right now, a chilly 55 degrees. Vice President Harris detailed her economic plans during a Fox News exclusive interview. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
The vice president telling Fox's Brett Baer on Special Report.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need.
Stressing she knows the immigration system needs to be fixed.
It is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people.
Detailing her career prosecuting cartels and transnational criminal networks and saying she wants to be very clear that her presidency would not be a continuation of President Biden's. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And former President Trump took part in a town hall last night on Univision addressing a Latino crowd in Miami. Trump again defended his claim that Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio were eating house pets.
All I do is report. I was there. I'm going to be there. And we're going to take a look, and I'll give you a full report when I do. But that's been in the newspapers and reported pretty broadly.
That claim has been repeatedly debunked by the town's Republican mayor and by Ohio's Republican governor. The clock is ticking for a Palestinian man who's scheduled for execution tonight in a case that has grabbed national attention. LP Phillips reports.
It'll be up to the U.S. Supreme Court to decide whether to allow the execution of Robert Robertson to go ahead. The case has made news because there was evidence during the trial that Robertson killed his daughter in 2002 by severely shaking her. Experts have emerged to say shaken baby syndrome has been discredited and that Robertson should not be put to death. But in its filing, the state says the courts have already gone over this, but even removing shaken baby syndrome from the argument, the girl actually died from multiple blunt force injuries, and that Robertson has been shown to be a violent man. Supreme Court usually rules on day of death penalty cases late in the day.
And state legislators voted yesterday to subpoena Robert Robertson, but it's unclear what impact that subpoena will have on his scheduled execution. Officials have no new information following the third day of searching for a missing woman in a southeast Bexar County landfill. San Antonio police assisted Almas Park police yesterday in the ongoing search of the landfill in an effort to find out what became of Suzanne Clark Simpson. She was last seen a week ago Sunday. Her husband, Brad Simpson, was arrested on charges of domestic violence and also faces a federal weapons charge. Well, a nonstop flight. The nation's capital is finally coming to San Antonio.
American Airlines says they got approval from the U.S. Department of Transportation yesterday to start nonstop flights from San Antonio to Washington, D.C. The Fort Worth-based carrier has not announced when the flights from San Antonio International Airport to Reagan National Airport will commence, but is expected to in the next few months. The federal decision was applauded by Airport Director Jesus Saenz, Mayor Ron Nierenberg, Congressman Joaquin Castro, and Texas U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Texas police want to make it illegal for protesters to wear face masks. DPS Lieutenant Ralph Olin says they're not doing it to prevent the spread of COVID.
Has become commonplace, especially among professional agitators from groups such as Antifa, to protect themselves from apprehension.
He says they're still trying to track down more than a dozen people who were involved in pro-Palestinian protests on the campus of UT Austin. Some assaulted cops and one tried to grab an officer's gun. Banning massive protests is something that other states have already passed. Louisiana did it for Mardi Gras to cut down on crime. Liam Payne, the former lead singer of the UK pop boy band One Direction, has died at the age of 31. Local reporting in Argentina says he died after falling from the third-floor hotel balcony in Buenos Aires and was acting erratically at the hotel before emergency services were called to the location, later confirming his death. One Direction is one of the most popular groups of all time, having sold over 70 million records worldwide before going on a hiatus in 2016. It is 6:06. The Spurs wrap up the preseason tonight in Houston. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has more in today's Spurs Report.
San Antonio's first news, big 6 o'clock hour upon us at 6:40. White House correspondent John Decker. Will the U.S. bring an arms embargo against Israel? He'll talk about what's at stake there and what the story is. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 6:48. At 6:20, why can't we shoot down Chinese drones flying over American military installations? And coming right up, Kamala Harris faced off with Brett Baier on Fox News last night. We'll react to that. We'll play some audio as well. First, your traffic and weather together.
Mixture of clouds and sun today. Highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy. Highs in the low 80s. Saturday, sun in the morning. Clouds in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. It is 54 degrees in Alamo Heights, 54 in Leon Valley, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:11.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Charlie Parker at 6:48 with Those Were the Days. I'm Chris Duell. EJ Pacheco, Andrew Zimmel, flying the Millennium Falcon this morning. Yesterday, and it aired early in the evening at 6 p.m. on Fox News Channel, Vice President and presidential candidate Kamala Harris sat down with Fox News Channel's Brett Baier. Here's a bit of that.
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
And Charity, as you alluded to earlier in the program, depending on the lens you're looking at this interview with, I think if you're a hardcore Republican, if you're a MAGA person, you think she did miserably. Democrats seem to be saying she did very, very well. It'll all come down to the people in the middle, how they feel about her performance.
Exactly. And I think that was her intention. I think she went into this Fox News interview knowing that most viewers are likely siding with former President Trump in the November election. But I think her purpose was going after those who really don't want to vote for either candidate, and particularly the male vote, I think, is what she's courting with doing that interview. And again, if those that are lean left are saying, you know what, she took that bull by the horn, she put up a good fight, entering non-friendly territory with that Fox News interview, while others on the right are saying, yeah, her campaign is over, that Brett Baier destroyed her with that interview that lasted 30 minutes.
Yeah, and there were some testy exchanges between both of them. And look, it's a pretty typical sit-down interview with a candidate running for president. You get some answers, and most of the time you don't get the answers that you need. You don't answer the question directly. You always deflect to your opponent. You know, well, he doesn't do this or she doesn't do that. And I just wish they would sit down, answer the questions, and maybe it would help.
Would have been nice. And, you know, Charity, you mentioned she's trying to court the male vote. We've talked about it a lot. There is a gender gap in this race. In general, males vote more or say they will vote more on Election Day for Donald Trump. Women in America, the majority of them seem to be Kamala Harris supporters. And I think there was another little undertone going on here. We still haven't elected a woman president in this country. I know Hillary ran in 2016, but part of this was a very adversarial interview. Brett Baier was interrupting her a lot, contradicting her a lot, trying to pin her down on questions. And I think in the minds of a lot of viewers, probably men and women in America, is to watch how does this woman handle a man sitting across from her being very adversarial, because someday she's going to have to do that with another world leader. So part of, I think, what people were watching for last night, how does she handle herself here? And again, depends on your point of view.
Yeah, I think for the most part, she was able to remain calm. I think at one point she did raise her voice a little bit, especially when she was being interrupted by Brett Baer. But I think, she, for the most part, maintained her composure. And, again, it all depends on which side you're leaning here, but I don't see any major damage to her presidential campaign 19 days out.
I don't see much help either. I mean, it's just the venue alone didn't help her a lot. But yeah, she held her own.
Yeah, she went into the lion's den. Coming up, Chinese drones flying over American military installations, and we, the American military, cannot shoot them down. What is going on here? WOAI News Time, 6:16.
And we're back.
Woohoo! Trevin said she did well, better than I honestly expected. Baer ended looking bad with his constant interruptions. Thank you, Ben. Ben likes my shirt.
Yeah, it was a nice shirt.
Vamos, Spurs, vamos.
Go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go.
Loosely translated.
Exactly. We're all about being bilingual here on San
Wait,
Antonio's
we're bi?
First News. Yes. Red Roddy says she answers the question and Brett would not have to redirect her. Interrupt is not what he was doing. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he was interrupting. He was, two things can be true at the same time. She was not directly answering a lot of those questions. Is this normal?
Yeah. It was an EAS test.
Okay.
Yeah, we should.
Did they tell you?
It was on there. I saw it on the.
Okay, I didn't know.
On the log. Yeah, and it just goes dead for us. You can hear it in there, you can hear it out there, but you can't hear it.
Okay.
It's weird, which to me is not right.
Yeah.
But you know what, Chris? That's how it's always been.
Uh-huh.
Teresa going to drink beer and play Call of Duty.
Right now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teresa just got off work.
Yeah.
So
hey.
It's after work for her. Some people wonder when we have beers at 9 o'clock, they go, hey.
That's not 9 o'clock to us, though.
No. Brooke Singman.
25, Chris.
25.
Yeah, and we're late.
Okay.
And depending on and we're back. Hello, Brooke. Oh, we got to. I guess we got to text Randy.
Yes.
Stand by.
We'll talk about those drones spying on U.S. military bases coming up. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Harris and Trump continue their nonstop campaigning with stops in critical swing states. Texas lawmakers have subpoenaed a death row inmate ahead of his execution scheduled for tonight. And the search continues at a Southeast Side landfill for a mother who's now believed to be dead. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today. Highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Saturday, sun in the morning, cloud in the afternoon. Highs in the low to mid 80s. 54 degrees at Fort Sam Houston. 54 at Randolph Air Force Base, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 622.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. The Wall Street Journal reporting that drones are being spotted over U.S. military bases, and those drones could be of Chinese origin. They've been sighted over military bases in Nevada and Virginia, including Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, which hosts 2 F-22 fighter squadrons and is an important Air Force intelligence unit. And what blows me away, Charity, and you've been reporting on this morning, that unless those drones pose a direct threat, well, the military is not allowed to shoot them down. There is concern, and the reason for that is there's concern that people on the ground might be injured if a drone is shot down.
Yeah, and I guess it's hard for them to determine if the drones belong to enthusiasts or are being operated by, the likes of Russia or China. But this seems like a rule that needs to change. I think you can dismantle the drone without risking injury to others on the ground. I mean, whether it's deploying some kind of net or something to take the thing down, because, this is a threat to national security.
It's definitely a threat. If they're flying over military bases, there's no reason for that. If you were an unidentified flyer, like an airplane flying over a military base, they might shoot you down because you don't know what the heck you're doing over there.
Yeah, and even if it is a civilian American operating that drone, you fly it over an Air Force base or a military base of any kind, I think it should be taken down. And to your point, Charity, I totally agree. We live in a new world now, and there's lots of drones out there. We need to change the rules. No drones unless they're military drones, and we know about them over U.S. military bases.
Yeah, and the drones have been around for decades, but the technology keeps evolving. Some of these drones can be armed. You don't know what they're equipped with. Exactly. I think you have to be extremely careful and err on the side of caution. And I'm surprised this is something that hasn't been done years ago as far as changing the law regarding shooting them down around our military bases.
I get not wanting to hurt civilians on the ground, but there's got to be something you can do to stop this.
Yeah, nobody has better technology for air defense than we do. So hopefully, now that this is being brought to light and is being reported widely, hopefully something will be done about it. Coming up, big next half hour, 6:40, White House correspondent John Decker, the U.S. threatening Israel with an arms embargo. How real could that be? What might precipitate that? We'll talk about that coming up at 6:48. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days, WOAI News Time, 625.
And we're back.
Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
All right. The walk-in should be any moment now.
Now he's gonna sit and listen to his Those Were the Days
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Lately, though, there's been about a 625 walk-in. We'll see.
Good. Hmm. Did you see that from?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Not bad. It's okay.
I would
But
I would have mentioned Opelka.
That's the only thing I didn't like about it.
Yeah. All right. Today's my no nap day.
Oh, that's right. You got your thing today, don't you?
Oh.
All right, there you go. Here comes Charity McCurdy. Everybody enjoy.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, with 19 days to go, Trump and Harris make their pitch to undecided voters and the latest developments in the search for a missing mother of four. Well, the latest right now, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80, tonight's low near 60, right now 56 degrees. The presidential election is growing closer and the race remains tight. Fox's Brett Baer sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris, who refused to explain why Americans were dissatisfied with the Biden-Harris administration, instead directing Baer to Trump's rhetoric during his 3 runs for the presidency.
If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking
I
about.
actually don't. What are you talking about?
Harris's interview came after an event with several Republicans backing her run for the presidency. Meantime, former President Trump focused on safety at an all-women town hall in Georgia with Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Former President Trump told female voters in Cummings, Georgia, the Border Patrol has endorsed him.
Law enforcement's with me 100%, and we have to keep our community safe.
He was asked by one grandmother what he'll do to keep transgender women and girls out of female sports.
Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just
councils?
ban it. The president bans it.
He promised one mother that he'd end so-called sanctuary cities.
Or I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out.
He confirmed his belief that a bigger problem than foreign adversaries is what he called the enemy within, namely Democrats who label him a threat.
They're the threat to democracy.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
President Biden is in Germany today, where he'll participate in a summit with the leaders of Germany, France, and the UK. On the table is support for Ukraine and its war against the Russian invasion and efforts to stabilize the Middle East. His trip was rescheduled from last week after the devastation brought by Hurricane Milton in Florida. The United States, meantime, has conducted airstrikes against militants backed by Iran. Here's Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Long-range B-2 stealth bombers have hit 5 underground storage locations in Yemen. They were being used by the Houthis, an Iran-backed rebel group that controls large parts of the country. A senior U.S. official tells Fox these airstrikes were a response to the Houthis' year-long destabilizing behavior. Houthi fighters have launched at least 270 attacks on military and commercial ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden since last November. They've also shot down at least 8 American Reaper drones. This is the first time US B-2 bombers have been used in combat since 2017. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has declined to commute a death sentence in a case that's drawing national attention. Robert Robertson of Anderson County is scheduled to be executed tonight for the 2002 capital murder of his 2-year-old daughter. His conviction was based on the now debunked shaken baby syndrome theory. Attorney Jane Pucher with the Innocence Project notes a Texas House committee yesterday spent hours talking about an 11-year-old law that says when there's a change of science, that person should get a new trial.
And yet, the Texas courts have not granted Mr. Robertson a new trial or even allowed for a hearing where that evidence can be heard.
Those familiar with the case say the toddler died of 2 types of pneumonia. A petition is pending at the U.S. Supreme Court, and Governor Abbott has the power to grant a 30-day stay. Meantime, state legislators voted yesterday to subpoena Robert Robertson, but it's unclear what impact that subpoena will have on his scheduled execution. The search for a missing San Antonio mother and realtor is now entering its 11th day. Eric Lycum brings us the latest.
Authorities confirm the search for Suzanne Clark Simpson is now a recovery effort as police continue to search for clues at a southeast Bexar County landfill. They believe they have the best chance to recover her body there. The husband, Brad Simpson, remains jailed in Bexar County on domestic violence and federal weapons charges and is still refusing to cooperate with police. His brother, Barton Simpson, speaking out on social media, says that's unacceptable and that the family is cooperating for him as they have been from the beginning. Barton Simpson says, quote, "This is not how we were raised and this is not who we are. Our parents instilled in us the values of honoring and protecting others, and they are truly remarkable people," unquote. The investigation continues. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio's Reproductive Justice Fund probably won't help women travel to abortion-friendly states after all. The fund was added to last year's city budget at the urging of abortion advocates after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. Abortions were all but completely banned in Texas. The $500,000 fund was set up to cover travel expenses for women seeking legal abortions in other states, but pro-life groups sued. The city council yesterday decided to distribute the funds to groups that provide education, support, and resources for women. Well, an English singer is dead after a fall in Argentina. Here's Fox's Michelle Polino.
One Direction singer Liam Payne has died after falling from the third floor of a hotel in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The British singer was part of an ensemble that included Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, Niall Horan, and Zayn Malik. Together, they became one of the best-selling groups of all time. The group signed with Simon Cowell's record label after they placed third in the UK on the singing competition The X Factor. In 2010, they were propelled to success from social media. The fame came quick, but after 5 albums in 2016, they went on indefinite hiatus. They all went on to successful solo careers. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
And a San Antonio police officer has finished a long run across Texas to support families of law enforcement officers who died while on duty. Detective Benjamin Garcia began his 800-mile journey in Amarillo late last month. He ended it at the police memorial in McAllen yesterday. Through his efforts, Garcia has raised $8,000 for a group called Concerns of Police Survivors. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money and the world of business. John Tucker is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, John. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. She's Charity McCurdy. He's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Charlie Parker coming up with those were the days at 6:48. Let's check in with White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. John, you are covering the story about the United States' deep concern with the deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza. Where do we stand on this?
Well, within the past week, a joint letter has been sent to leaders in Israel coming from our Secretary of State, our Defense Secretary, to their Israeli counterparts. And they've essentially laid it on the line to the Israelis, saying you need to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza, allow humanitarian aid to get to those Palestinians in need, or else within 30 days, if you don't do that, we will consider cutting off all of the arms that we provide to you to deal with situations in an offensive manner. So the defensive weapons will continue to flow to Israel. It's the offensive weapons that's at play here. A similar letter was sent to Israel back in April. Israel stepped up the amount of humanitarian aid that's been getting to Palestinians in Gaza. And now here we are several months later, another letter has been sent, the Israelis saying, we will step it up and allow whatever humanitarian aid to get to those Palestinians in need. I don't think that they want to risk an arms embargo, which is being threatened by this letter.
Now, John, we've heard reports that it's Hamas that's intercepted humanitarian aid in most cases. So how can we be sure who's to blame here?
Well, that's a really good point. And that has been true, not only since October the 7th of last year, but for in the years prior to that attack on Israel by Hamas. That being said, what has happened is Israel has sometimes cut off some of the entry points into Gaza, and that has slowed down the amount of humanitarian aid that has been able to get into Gaza. That is, I think, what is at issue here more than anything else, rather than Hamas taking that humanitarian aid and distributing as they see fit, rather than allowing it to go to humanitarian groups and allow those humanitarian groups to distribute that aid.
Is there a deadline? Do they give them a deadline as to when they can get this done or not?
Yeah, the deadline is 30 days. 30 days in which to do that. Israel says it will certainly comply. But, you know, it's just interesting that a letter like that is being sent in the sense that, as you know, the U.S. has always considered Israel its strongest ally in the Middle East. Israel also has always considered the United States its strongest ally. And here this arms embargo is being threatened against that ally. So that's, I think, one of the takeaways from this news that came out in the past few days.
And I find it interesting, John, 30 days is the deadline, yet the election is in 19 days. Granted, if Donald Trump won, the Trump administration would not take charge until January 20th of 2025. But it would seem to me that at least Donald Trump says he's more sympathetic to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, seemingly, than the Biden administration. So I wonder how that might play out.
Well, that's right. Politics does play a role in this. And I do believe, like you say, that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have different views about the state of Israel and the way that they would deal with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Donald Trump and Netanyahu go back quite a ways. They had a very good relationship, continue to have a good relationship. The relationship is not as warm with Kamala Harris, the vice president, and the Israeli prime minister. Now, just because you don't have a warm relationship with the leader doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship with the country as a whole. But certainly things would look a lot different depending upon who's elected after the November election.
Our thanks to White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. Coming up, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days, WOAI News Time 645.
And we're back.
All righty. On the radio, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. They can't hear Charlie on YouTube, can they?
No.
I know a lot of you go to the radio or the iHeartRadio app to make sure you catch Charlie Parker's Those Were the Days. Charlie will be in studio at 8:20. He'll be in the building in about 10 minutes.
He's probably already sitting outside. Hang on, let's look.
Good morning, Eric. Welcome in. Travis, RK, Trevin, Tracy Bogert,
He's sitting on the golf cart.
Mag 7189.
Listening to his phone. I just saw him set his phone down.
Yeah.
M1A1, good morning. RK, good morning. Trevin, Mag, Rooster. Martin, good morning.
So talkbacks at
50.
How many?
Oh.
Plenty?
Not really. 4.
Okay.
And we're back. Yeah, my mood just hit low.
Yeah, we'll get through it. No meeting that we're aware of. Thursday Night Lights, Highlands versus Jefferson.
Ooh, that's a
Once
barn burner.
again, they hate Holmes High School. Holmes High School is never on Thursday Night Lights. Game 4 tonight.
Come on, Mets. God's sakes, win a game.
Do we know where in Georgia the town hall was? I always ask him that, and he doesn't put it on here.
Actually, he didn't put anything on there because he just told me he had Trump. I did not find out where he was. Hang on, I'll get it.
It'll come up. Trump Town Hall, Georgia.
No, he didn't put anything on there. He just told me what he had. Because, you know.
And here are the stories we're following. The focus is on undecided voters as Trump and Harris ramp up their campaigning. San Antonio International finally scores in its long fight for a nonstop flight to D.C. and a last-ditch effort to save the life of a death row inmate whose execution is set for tonight. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs near 80. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, highs in the low to mid 80s. And on Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, highs in low to mid 80s. It is 54 degrees in Floresville, Texas, 53 at the Snake Farm, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:55.
San Antonio's first news, little Stevie Winwood for you on a Thursday morning. 1 week from today, 2 p.m. at La Hacienda de los Barrios, it will be OpelkaCon. OpelkaCon. That'll be a new song from the band Chopped Liver,
yes,
which may be performing at OpelkaCon.
Maybe unplugged.
We do know Charity McCurdy will be there. Will there be an actual hugging booth, Charity?
Or will you just be bringing it with you?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be standing behind like an official platform or anything like that with with signage. No.
So it's freestyle hugging.
Yeah, it's got to come naturally. That's kind of what I'm planning for.
And our good friend, amazing photographer Eric Bowden will be there. We're inviting veterans to come out. He makes these magnificent, beautiful portraits of veterans. He's going to do that for you for free. It is absolutely amazing. And Mr. T, we're asking people this morning, we've got a $50 gift card to go to La Hacienda de los Barrios. You could spend it at OpelkaCon.
Yes, you could.
It's probably a really good idea. And by the way, if you win the gift card, you'll be at the VIP table with Mike Opelka.
Wow.
That's just too much of a prize.
That is.
Oh,
That is.
so exciting.
So we've asked people on the iHeartRadio app to let us know why
Yeah.
they should go.
Exactly. And we'll start out in Victoria, Texas.
Hey guys, this is Lee from Victoria, and I just want to say if I was lucky enough to win the gift card, I would use it to buy us a round in celebration of Mike's recent hole-in-one. I know how hard he's been trying to accomplish that, and I believe it deserves a round. Thanks.
Okay.
That's a perk.
That is a perk. That is a perk. Okay, so we take bribery very seriously on this
I
program.
like that,
Yes.
Lee. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's check in with Joaquin.
Good morning, guys. It's Joaquin, your Uber driver, once again. Hey, this is really neat and fun only because I consider Mike Opelka amongst like Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity and the great Rush Limbaugh, who actually helped me turn over to the conservative Republican side. They keep teaching us how to be kind humans and well-rounded and respect our country and live for each other. Thank you.
Wow.
that's
Very well said.
So Joaquin comparing Mike Opelka to Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck. That's high praise.
It is high praise.
I believe Mike does speak into a golden microphone.
I'm pretty sure he does. Will he bring it with him? We don't know.
We hope so.
We don't know if he
Yes.
travels with it at all. Then we'll have to
If he
find
does,
out.
maybe you can pose with the Mike
Yes.
Opelka golden microphone. More of your talkbacks coming up. You
We got a
one
couple more.
We
Yeah,
got
no, we
time?
got a couple
Okay.
more. We got time. All right. Here is this guy is he's in the doghouse. He needs some help.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, San Antonio's First News. Hey guys, I'm gonna shoot my case here to go to that dinner. That $50 dinner is because I'm gonna spill the beans right now. Please don't tell my wife. But I'm in the doghouse. Yeah, I made some bad decisions. Francisco here admitting it. I did make some bad decisions. I'm in the doghouse. So please help me get out of this. And yes, I would love to use that $50 dinner. Good morning, guys.
Francisco wanting to get out of the doghouse.
I have a lot of questions though. What were the bad choices you made? Because I don't know if we can help out with certain bad choices. I mean, there's some bad choices we can help with, some we don't want to touch.
Yeah, but if you want to bring a smile to her face, if she's really upset, I mean, putting a margarita and an amazing enchilada dinner plate from La Hacienda de los Barrios in front of her, I mean, that's a great start to repairing what's the wrong.
It is. We have one more, and this is from our good friend RK.
Yep, RK here. All right, let's get serious. What would Opelka-thon be like without Mr. Opelka? I love Opelka. Y'all love Opelka. But sometimes you get trumped by the hugging booth. That's just the way life is. Be there or be square. Except for y'all with a legitimate excuse, Miss K. Bye, y'all.
That was, by the way, we'll pull the curtain back.
Yes.
Miss K, that's a shout out to Kemper, who is another one of our favorites. We found out this morning on the YouTube stream, Kemper will be out of town for OpelkaCon.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It's not good.
We're bummed out about that. Otherwise, that was a very nice one, RK.
That was.
That could also almost be a commercial for OpelkaCon.
It was a very good commercial if it was.
Yeah, we might have to hire RK for his voiceover services for an OpelkaCon commercial.
He does have that voice.
Very, very nice. You know who else has that voice? The storyteller.
Yes, he does.
We're waiting on the storyteller to see if he would like those OpelkaCon tickets.
That would be awesome.
Well, they're not tickets. Everybody can come.
Yeah,
to
anybody can
OpelkaCon.
come, yes.
Yeah. We're talking about, we're going to give you $50 to eat at La Hacienda and sit at the VIP
See, a
table.
special table.
Very, very cool. Coming up, Donald Trump wait till you hear this, a town hall in Georgia. First, though, right now, Charity McCurdy with everything you need to know on this Thursday morning as WOAI News Time is 7 o'clock.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's First News. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, we'll have the latest from the campaign trail, and an important nonstop flight is coming to Military City, USA. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80, tonight's low near 60. Right now, a chilly 55 degrees. Vice President Kamala Harris talked about immigration policies and her record as a prosecutor during a Fox News exclusive interview. Here's more from Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
The vice president telling Fox's Brett Baer on special report.
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency.
Addressing 3 women allegedly killed by migrants in the U.S. illegally.
And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced.
Calling border security a priority.
I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings.
Stressing she takes going after people who pose a threat to the safety of Americans very seriously. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Former President Trump took part in a town hall last night on Univision, addressing a Latino crowd in Miami. He defended his efforts on January 6 to overturn President Biden's 2020 election victory, efforts that led to a federal indictment.
That was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke, and I used the term peacefully and patriotically.
The riot by Trump supporters that day left nearly $3 million worth of damage to the Capitol. Officials have no new information following the third day of searching for a missing woman in a southeast Bexar County landfill. San Antonio police assisted Almas Park police yesterday in the ongoing search at the landfill in an effort to find out what became of Suzanne Clark Simpson. She was last seen a week ago Sunday. Her husband, Brad Simpson, was arrested last week on charges of domestic violence and also faces a federal weapons charge. The clock is ticking for a Palestinian man who's scheduled for execution tonight in a case that's grabbed national attention. LP Phillips reports.
It'll be up to the U.S. Supreme Court to decide whether to allow the execution of Robert Robertson to go ahead. The case has made news because there was evidence during the trial that Robertson killed his daughter in 2002 by severely shaking her. Experts have emerged to say shaken baby syndrome has been discredited and that Robertson should not be put to death. But in its filing, the state says the courts have already gone over this, but even removing shaken baby syndrome from the argument, the girl actually died from multiple blunt force injuries, and that Robertson has been shown to be a violent man. Supreme Court usually rules on day of death penalty cases late in the day.
And state legislators voted yesterday to subpoena Robertson. It's unclear what impact it will have on his scheduled execution. Liam Payne, the former lead singer of the UK pop boy band One Direction, has died at the age of 31 after falling from the third-floor hotel balcony in Buenos Aires. Local reporting indicates Payne was acting erratically at the hotel before emergency services were called, later confirming his death. One Direction is one of the most popular groups of all time, having sold over 70 million records worldwide before going on a hiatus in 2016. Well, a nonstop flight to the nation's capital is finally coming to San Antonio.
American Airlines says they got approval from the U.S. Department of Transportation yesterday to start nonstop flights from San Antonio to Washington, D.C. The Fort Worth-based carrier has not announced when the flights from San Antonio International Airport to Reagan National Airport will commence, but is expected to in the next few months. The federal decision was applauded by Airport Director Jesus Saenz, Mayor Ron Nierenberg, Congressman Joaquin Castro, and Texas U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A Google site that tracks Halloween trends nationwide is listing the most popular costumes in San Antonio. The site, called Fright Guy, says the top 5 trending Halloween costumes in the city this year are the Marvel anti-superhero Deadpool, the Frankenstein monster, an inflatable chicken, the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, and Jessica Rabbit from the 1988 movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It is 7:06. The Spurs wrap up the preseason tonight in Houston. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs Insider, brought to you by Credit Human. Today's Spurs Insider brought to you by Credit Human. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, lots coming at you in this 7 o'clock hour. 7:20, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, his take on the morning's big stories. 7:40, national correspondent Rory O'Neill, latest polling data from Georgia and North Carolina, and some billionaires who are contributing to campaign 2024. They'll talk to us about that. More of your talkbacks coming up as well. Why do you want to go to Opelka Con? Easy for me to say. You could get a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios. And coming right up on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, Donald Trump in Georgia yesterday at a town hall meeting claiming to be the father of IVF. We'll hear that coming up. WOAI. First, let's get your traffic and weather together.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs near 80. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, highs in the low to mid 80s. And on Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. It is 54 degrees in in Alamo Heights, 54 at the Pearl, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:12.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T. She's Charity. I'm Chris. Charlie Parker in the building. He'll join us at 8:20 for Parker's Picks and more every weekday morning at this time. We span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. Yesterday in Cumming, Georgia, Donald Trump did a Fox News Channel town hall. Abortion came up, as did in vitro fertilization. Let's listen to the former president.
And IVF, you had mentioned before
Right,
IVF.
let's get this question
Yeah.
because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't
I'm the
hear that
father
every
of
day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
Yeah. Hi, President Trump. So I'm the mother of 3 small children, and I have many friends that have struggled with fertility issues over the years while trying to grow their families. And while they're pro-life, they're very concerned that the abortion bans will affect their ability to access IVF and other fertility treatments. So although abortion does lie with the states, what is your stance on that, and what would you say to those women?
So I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up like emergency, because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked in a certain way. I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF. I came out with a statement within an hour, a really powerful statement with some experts, really powerful. And we went totally in favor. The Republican Party, the whole party, Alabama legislature, a day later overturned, meaning approved it, overturned. The judge essentially approved it. And we really are the party for IVF. We want fertilization, and it's all the way. And the Democrats tried to attack us on it, and we're out there on IVF even more than them. So we're totally in favor of it.
Donald Trump yesterday at a town hall in Georgia, pulling back the curtain on how he learned more about IVF from Senator Katie Britt, and how he very quickly became in favor of it.
Yeah, it was interesting when he said, I'm the father of IVF. So I didn't know how to interpret that other than think, oh, well, maybe Barron or Tiffany Trump, maybe, were conceived via IVF. I didn't know how to read into that. But, I don't think Republicans have to worry about the issue of IVF. I think it's more going to be about the issue of abortion, specifically cases when the mother's life is in danger and doctors are afraid to carry out those emergency procedures because they're worried about being sent to jail. I think that's going to be more of the issue at the ballot box November 5th.
I agree with that. And I thought that I was a little confused like you were, Charity, when he said he was the father of IVF. And then he went on to explain that he learned about it. And I guess being the father in his minds means that he got the Republicans to agree that it's okay.
Yeah, it sounds like that. But very, very interesting and memorable answer. And as you can imagine, it lit up social media when he said that he was the father of IVF. Lots of people reacted on social media. Coming up, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, 1 week out from OpelkaCon. His thoughts on the morning's big stories coming right up. WOAI News Time, 7:15.
And we're back.
That was a little dated.
What's that?
That promo just now? Because she said Biden's out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, but still, it is. We should be fresh.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that it's not, because then she says, but you still don't know who's moving the shells. So it could be interpreted either way. But my first thought when I heard that part of it was that it's dated.
Yeah.
1 week from today, Mike Opelka will be in San Antonio at La Hacienda de los Barrios. This morning, he's on the radio. We connect with Mike in just a sec. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, Trump and Harris continue to campaign at a fever pitch with 19 days to go until Election Day. The family of Brad Simpson continues to distance themselves as the search for his wife continues, and the pop music world is paying tribute to the late Liam Payne. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today. Highs right around 80. Tomorrow, cloudy skies. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, and highs in the low to mid 80s. It is 45 degrees in Kerrville, Texas, 54 in Floresville, and 54 at Trinity University right here in San Antonio. WOEI News Time, 721.
Trinity University, home, ancestral home. The College of Mike Opelka. He'll be coming back in a week. We'll have OpelkaCon a week from today at La Hacienda de los Barrios. Later on the show, you could win a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios. Mike brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. Mike, it wasn't as big as OpelkaCon, but it got a lot of attention. Kamala Harris sitting down with Brett Baer on Fox News Channel yesterday. Did it make you change your vote?
No, and I honestly don't think anybody's vote was changed.
No.
Anybody. And the same thing seems to be able to be said of Donald Trump's town halls, although I think the Univision town hall with uncommitted voters, which they did vet them, they said, may have altered some votes. But Brett Baer, who many of us had trepidation about whether or not he was going to softball it to Kamala Harris, he came in hot and she came in hot. And I was impressed by him. And I think even though she performed badly, she got a couple of shots in. But the filibustering is what irritated me most. So she prevented a lot of questions from being asked.
And Mike, at one point, Trump was asked to name 3 virtues he sees in Kamala Harris. What did you think of his responses?
I thought that was great because he talked about the fact that she has lifelong friends and she's accomplished something in her life. And it was gracious. And it's a far cry from what she said when she was asked a similar question last week. But then again, Trump had time to prepare. You know, his people probably said, hey, Mr. Trump, you're probably going to get asked, you know, what has she got in her quiver that's good? And so he probably had a few things ready. She was not as well prepared.
And Mike, we are asking our listeners today, because we are 1 week away from your appearance at OpelkaCon. We're asking our listeners to tell us why they want to be at the VIP table and win a $50 gift card. And we got an input from a man in Victoria, Texas, that says he wants to go so he could buy everybody around to celebrate your recent hole-in-one. When was this?
September 14th.
Okay.
It happened. And there is video on Facebook. I should copy it over to the Twitter account. But yes, it finally happened. America's long golf nightmare is over.
Well, and how great is that? I mean, if you're going to get a hole-in-one, to have video evidence, that's pretty big.
Well, I've been doing this for 12 years, Chris. Every time we play a round of golf, there's usually 4 par 3s where you have a chance. And we've been live streaming every one of them on Facebook or Twitter. And it's become a comedy of errors. And it finally happened. And people are like, you didn't seem that excited. I'm like, well, I'm exhausted.
I was going to ask, what happened when you got that hole-in-one? Did you drop to your knees and wave that 9-iron in the air? What happened?
I said, thank you, Jesus. I did say that. And I waved my 8-iron in the air. And then I had to buy a bunch of drinks for jackwagons who were on the course. So it wasn't exactly a cheap day, but it was fun.
Hey, it's worth it though, isn't it? To buy drinks for
Absolutely.
everybody because you got a hole in one. How long was the hole?
That day was 135 yards.
Wow.
What wasn't
Okay.
gigantic, but it was a testy shot, and it finally happened.
I love it.
Yeah, Mike, I got to redirect you for a moment to polling numbers. CNN has new numbers, and it's good news for Trump and not very good news for Kamala Harris.
This is interesting, Chris. We're seeing polls on both sides that are showing Trump's firming up his base, and she's had some erosions. But then there are some national polls that are showing Kamala Harris still has a 4-point lead, and she's got a lead in some of the swing states. But here's where people are really paying attention to the betting markets. There's over $6 billion wagered right now in the betting markets, and they are overwhelmingly leaning on Donald Trump. And I tend to think after the last 3 elections we've sat through, the polls don't really have it figured out yet. The pollsters haven't figured out how to get to people any more than they did in 2016. So I tend to believe money. Follow the money on this one.
So, Mike, if you had to guess, what were Obama and Biden talking about during that intense exchange during Ethel Kennedy's funeral?
Price of bacon. You know what it looked like to me, Charity? As a guy who's been married for more than 30 years, I know when my wife is mad at me. I don't need to have her say anything. And Barack Obama's arms crossed, staring through Joe Biden, spoke volumes. Been there, done that, got the apology.
Okay.
Very nice. You can get a lot more Mike Opelka from his Pure Opelka podcast. Get it wherever you get your podcast. We recommend the iHeartRadio app. 1 week from today, OpelkaCon at La Hacienda de los Barrios. It'll start at 2 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Mike is brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated, WOAI News Time 727. Woohoo! Yeah, she had already indicated. I had already told her to go.
She has a clock.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize we were that close to 26. So I would have, had I thought better of it, I would have changed.
7:32 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, with 19 days to go, Trump and Harris make their pitch to undecided voters and the latest developments in the search for a missing mother of four. We'll have more ahead. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80. Tonight's low near 60. Right now, 55 degrees. The presidential election is growing closer and the race remains tight. Fox's Brett Baer sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris, and the interview grew contentious when the two butted heads while discussing immigration policies.
It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
You had
please.
the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and
in
they
the
didn't bring
middle
up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Meanwhile, former President Trump focused on safety at an all-women town hall in Georgia with Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Former President Trump told female voters in Cummings, Georgia, the Border Patrol has endorsed him.
Law enforcement's with me 100%, and we have to keep our community safe.
He was asked by one grandmother what he'll do to keep transgender women and girls out of female sports.
Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban it. The president bans it.
He promised one mother that he'd end so-called sanctuary cities.
I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out.
He confirmed his belief that a bigger problem than foreign adversaries is what he called the enemy within, namely Democrats who label him a threat.
They're the threat to democracy.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Biden administration could restrict military assistance to Israel if the country doesn't improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza within the next month. That's according to a letter sent to Israeli officials. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the U.S. must constantly check under law if Israel is directly or indirectly disrupting U.S. humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. They warned that any future military financing may be halted if it is. Well, the search for a missing San Antonio mother and realtor is now entering its 11th day. Eric Lycum has the latest.
Authorities confirm the search for Suzanne Clark Simpson is now a recovery effort as police continue to search for clues at a southeast Bexar County landfill. They believe they have the best chance to recover her body there. The husband, Brad Simpson, remains jailed in Bexar County on domestic violence and federal weapons charges and is still refusing to cooperate with police. His brother, Barton Simpson, speaking out on social media, says that's unacceptable and that the family is cooperating for him as they have been from the beginning. Barton Simpson says, quote, "This is not how we were raised and this is not who we are. Our parents instilled in us the values of honoring and protecting others, and they are truly remarkable people," unquote. The investigation continues. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A Texas House committee is issuing a subpoena to death row inmate Robert Robertson, whose execution is scheduled for today. The Texas House Committee on Criminal Jurisprudence unanimously voted yesterday to subpoena Robertson to assist them with their inquiry into his case. Robertson would be the first person in the nation to be executed for a shaken baby death. Courts have repeatedly rejected his appeals. The House committee's move to forestall the execution is reportedly unprecedented. Well, there are growing concerns that American military bases are being spied on by drone aircraft. It's something that Texas lawmakers were warned about at a hearing this week.
Citizens of the People's Republic of China have been using drones to fly over military bases and other sensitive sites at truly alarming rates.
Adam Klein, who heads the Strauss Center, UT Austin, called on state lawmakers to help local cops track down those who are flying the drones. That's because shooting down the drones is banned unless they pose a threat. Well, the Federal Trade Commission is making it easier to cancel digital subscriptions. It announced it would soon put in place a final click to cancel rule. It would require sellers to make it as easy for consumers to cancel their enrollment as it was to sign up. FTC Chair Lena Khan said that the rule will end businesses' tricks and traps, saying they will make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. It is 7:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, to check of your money and the world of business. John Tucker is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, John. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker in the building. He'll join us at 8:20. I'm Chris Duell. Let's check in with national correspondent Rory O'Neill, just 19 days out from the 2024 election. And Rory, I understand you have new polling data in the battleground states of Georgia and North Carolina. What do we know?
Yeah, we know that Donald Trump is solidifying a lead in Georgia. The former president leading Vice President Kamala Harris 52 to 45 among likely voters in this poll. Donald Trump has consistently had an edge here, but I think this is the largest gap that he's been able to open up in this campaign. So encouraging news out of Georgia for the Trump team. But in North Carolina, things are a bit different. Still considered too close to call. Kamala Harris has a slight edge, 49 to 47%. Keep in mind, this is also in a state with a key gubernatorial race that's happening. The lieutenant governor, a Republican, being dogged by some scandals, and he's been falling off in the polls. But Harris really hasn't been able to solidify any support from the Democrats who are backing the Democrat for governor in that race.
And Rory, with just 19 days to go, I mean, how often are these polls conducted? Weekly, every couple of days?
Well, right. They'll do various polling from Quinnipiac. Typically, it's been monthly, but we'll see a more frequent poll coming out of them. Typically, they'll try to make them more narrow, like we see here, focusing on just 2 states. But yeah, we are in nonstop polling. Every day, somebody's going to have something to announce, even if it's just a real clear average poll that we get, because this contest, as these polls tell us again and again, is incredibly close. Kamala Harris does have a couple of leads in national polling, but as the Democrats have learned on a couple of occasions, national polls don't really matter.
And who are these billionaires that are funneling money to both Trump and Harris campaigns? Who are they?
They are people not taking my phone calls. I can tell you that. Forbes took a closer look at some of these billionaire donors. 79 billionaires back Kamala Harris, including 28 who've given her $1 million or more for her campaign. 50 billionaires are supporting Donald Trump, 26 of whom have given his campaign $1 million or more. And of course, this week we got the announcement that Elon Musk is giving $75 million to the PAC that is supporting Donald Trump.
Those are interesting numbers, Rory. 79 billionaires for Kamala Harris, 50 billionaires for Donald Trump. Yet, she paints him as the guy who's going to give nothing but tax breaks to billionaires. It makes you wonder why so many billionaires are going for Harris in this case.
Well, right. They've asked some of those questions, and they say that some of the billionaires have said that they think a Harris administration would be more stable than a Trump administration. And, the markets love stability and predictability. And they think they can find that with a Harris administration more so than with Donald Trump.
So with the election so close, Rory, how much of a difference does this campaign cash make in moving the needle?
Well, I don't think it changes minds, but it can motivate people to go to the polls. At this point, it's all about what they call, Go TV, get out the vote, because these races, we've said, have pretty much been, or minds have been made up almost ever since Kamala Harris got in the campaign. Donald Trump's support doesn't really move very much. It sort of hovers in this window of about 43 to 47%. He has a floor and a ceiling, and Harris has been improving, but still, no clear edge over Donald Trump. So it really is a matter of who is actually going to show up and vote in many states now or up through Election Day.
Our thanks to national correspondent Rory O'Neill, a big part of our election coverage. We are Election Central, and we bring you full team coverage, and will continue to do so until a president is elected. A big part of our election coverage as well is Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. 1 week from today is OpelkaCon. Coming up, more of your talkbacks, a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios. We're giving it away to somebody today. That's coming up. WOAI News Time, 7:45.
Hello. All right.
All righty.
Okay.
RK, Eric, Tim, Sleepy, Echo. Tracy Bogart, Trevin.
Notice how you never see them together?
I know.
Eric, what's happening?
5:40 on Monday, Eric. Eric sent me a photo. You know how you get in the military, the exchange of coins.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me, yeah.
Yeah, he got a one from a
it was a big deal.
Medal of Honor winner.
Yeah, that's huge,
cool.
man.
Yeah, that was very cool.
You throw that down in the bar, nobody's going to beat that one.
Yeah, Eric received
Did
this.
you get the whiskey bottle picture?
Coin. I did. That's very cool.
Over. Oh, there you
From
go.
a Medal of Honor.
Yeah, see, that's a hard to beat one, man.
That is rare.
What was the whiskey bottle one?
From the event. I'll show you that.
Oh, cool. There you go. Nice.
Here's the whiskey bottle.
Brand new cars. Oak tree, you're in my way.
The Medal of Honor celebration. There's one side of it in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And the other side is Jack Daniels, I believe.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jack Daniels Single Barrel Select.
Oh, good stuff, man, by the way. Not a big Jack Daniels guy, but that is very good stuff.
Nice.
The single barrel, very good. Does not taste as sweet as Jack Daniels does. Jack Daniels, if you please.
Very cool, Eric.
We have one talk back, so we can
Okay.
go off on a PelkaCon if you want.
Okay. I will tell her that.
Jack Daniels, if you please. And we're back.
Woo! Oh, and Tangi is good to go for 7:50 tomorrow.
Cool.
She'll be in Houston.
Okay.
So in the promo, we can throw in Tangi.
Wait, Tangi and Randy together?
too
Oh my
much.
God.
Together again. Like Lennon and McCartney.
Just like them.
Yeah. Just like Bogey and Bacall.
Just like them. Are they going to Key Largo, though?
That's a good question.
Ooh, look.
50% off Uber and Lyft for Election Day.
But do you have to go to the polls or can you go anywhere? It's National Pasta Day, Chris. You know, it sounds like a very good excuse to have pasta for dinner. Dude, you missed your eyes. The hell? How'd you do that? Chris, stand by. Biodynamics.
Records. Just ahead of headlines, traffic and weather. And Charity, we are Election Central. Want to pass this along. Uber and Lyft are offering 50% off rides to the polls on Election Day. That's kind of cool if you need a ride.
Yeah.
Uber and Lyft will make it easier.
No excuses.
Very, very cool.
I like it. Let's do it.
That's so. I wonder if it's just to the polls or.
Well, you know,
if
so I
go to
was
a
wondering,
bar,
can you just
gotta
go
pay
anywhere?
for-
Yeah. Hey, can you drop me off here after I go to the voting here? They got polls in this place.
Yes. And has Randy Beamer ever been polled?
I don't know what to
Charity,
ask him.
we'll find out tomorrow. Charity, what story are you following?
Well, early voting begins today in North Carolina as Trump and Harris continue to hold multiple campaign appearances. Military City, USA is finally getting a nonstop flight to D.C. And former One Direction singer Liam Payne has died at the age of 31 after falling from his hotel balcony in Argentina. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy, highs in the low to mid 80s. Saturday, sun in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. 45 degrees in Kerrville, Texas. 54 in Monte Vista, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:52.
San Antonio's first news, big 8 o'clock hour coming up, including Charlie Parker. Charlie will join us at 8:20. He's got Parker's picks, college football picks for the weekend. He's got some thoughts on the inductions into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming this weekend. You can see that
Saturday, yeah,
on Disney Plus Saturday night. So we'll dive into all of that with Charlie coming up in the next half hour. We've been talking about it. We're so excited. 1 week from today, OpelkaCon. You can meet and greet Mike Opelka at La Hacienda de los Barrios from 2 to 4 p.m. We'll be there. Charity will be there. Charity will be giving hugs if you request them.
Freestyle.
Nicely. We have an amazing photographer, Eric Bowden, who does portraits of veterans. If you are a veteran, if you know a veteran, we want you to come out. He most recently was at the big Medal of Honor event,
huge,
taking photographs of Medal of Honor winners and more. It's just going to be a great afternoon. And we have a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios, which is my favorite Mexican restaurant in town. The atmosphere, the patio, the food, spectacular. And Mr. T, how did we? What was the question to try to win this gift card today?
Yeah, why should we give you this gift card? Why should you get the VIP table? Sell us on why you should be that person.
And before we listen, Charity, I think everybody knows, but we're always getting new listeners. How do they tell us why they should go to OpelkaCon?
The free iHeartRadio app. You search 1200 WOAI, the red circle. That's the talkback feature. When you hit it, you have 30 seconds to sound off.
And we didn't even mention, you sit, if you win the $50, you sit at the Opelka table.
Yeah, and
How
what we'll
cool
do
that?
is we'll just rotate Mike around. That way you can sit next to each one of them.
Ooh, I like that.
So he doesn't know that yet, but we're going to
We'll spring that on him
we'll
next
spring it on.
Thursday. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the people.
Hey, y'all, this is Nick. Let's be honest. Winning the Mike OpelkaCon tickets for the VIP table and the gift card, I would be able to hold it over my boss, some of my coworkers, but most importantly, my father-in-law, who I do like, but conservative like myself, that would be such a prestigious honor that I can continue to use at holiday parties until generations to come.
That's all
I
we're
like
looking for
that.
is to be able to give you something to talk about at holiday parties. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Street cred.
Street
You
cred,
get to
yes.
brag about that. Much easier. I think everybody can get a selfie with Mike if you come to a
Oh, I think so, yes.
But to say I was at the VIP table with Mike Opelka, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, you can have the pictures to prove it. If you don't post it online, it didn't happen. So,
Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Did it happen if you didn't post
Got to be Facebook official.
It does.
And Instagram official and X official.
And X, you got to exit.
Very, very
Isn't that
nice.
is what the kids call it? Exing?
Is that what they call it?
I don't know. I don't know any kids.
So now, Charity, I am a big enchilada fan anywhere, but especially at La Hacienda de los Barrios. You're saying the carne asada is pretty outstanding?
Oh, yes. And that's how I gauge a top tier Mexican restaurant. And La Hacienda de los Barrios definitely passes the test. Let me tell you, it's good stuff.
See, I gauge them on cheese enchiladas because, a lot of people say, oh, they're so easy, you can't mess them up. Yes, you can. People can mess them up, and they do.
Now,
So that's
wait a
how I
minute,
judge
that's
them.
breaking news. I've never met a taco or an enchilada I didn't like. Some I like more than others.
Now, you've never had the ones that are so greasy and the chili sauce on top of the chili con
I've
carne
had
is
those,
not
but
so
I've just kind of said, okay.
See,
these
I
are
set
gonna be
the bar a
greasy
little higher than
enchiladas
Chris.
today. Well, but I never. Do you eat those
Oh
enchiladas?
God, I didn't say I
You
didn't.
don't send them back.
No, I don't send them
They're
back, but
enchiladas.
that's just it's a sign of how good the restaurant actually is.
Okay.
And then I'll move on to something else and see if that's any good.
Like the margarita?
Yeah, that's always a good sign
Uh-huh,
too. The
yeah.
good margarita is in good place.
Oh my goodness. Charity, have you ever sent an enchilada plate back at any restaurant in San Antonio?
I maybe if it wasn't warm or hot, but I can't recall a time that has happened. To be honest with you,
I can't either. But that's a good way to judge, though.
That's a very good point. All right. We will, you can keep them coming. We will pick a winner in the 8 o'clock hour. National correspondent Aaron Real, Charlie Parker, Joe Pags, and more coming up. WOAI News Time 7:57.
And we're back. Well, so far, hang on, people. We'll be right back. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Johnny Chingus. Tim, RK, Echo, Travis, Trevin. I think that's everybody that's chatting right now. I guess we'll do, we'll pick a winner after Pags.
Sure.
Okay. Cool with that? I'm cool with that. You cool with that, yo?
I'm cool with it.
This
8 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, we'll have the latest from the campaign trail. An important nonstop flight is finally coming to Military City, USA. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80, tonight's low near 60. Get a move on, it is 55 degrees. Vice President Harris detailed her economic plans during a Fox News exclusive interview. Here's more from Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
The vice president telling Fox's Brett Baer on Special Report.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need.
Stressing she knows the immigration system needs to be fixed.
It is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people.
Detailing her career prosecuting cartels and transnational criminal networks and saying she wants to be very clear that her presidency would not be a continuation of President Biden's. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And former President Trump took part in a town hall last night on Univision, addressing a Latino crowd in Miami. Trump again defended his claim that Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating house pets.
All I do is report. I have not, I was there, I'm going to be there, and we're going to take a look, and I'll give you a full report when I do. But that's been in the newspapers and reported pretty broadly.
That claim has been repeatedly debunked by the town's Republican mayor and by Ohio's Republican governor. And the clock is ticking for a Palestinian man who's scheduled for execution tonight in a case that has grabbed national attention. LP Phillips reports.
It'll be up to the U.S. Supreme Court to decide whether to allow the execution of Robert Robertson to go ahead. The case has made news because there was evidence during the trial that Robertson killed his daughter in 2002 by severely shaking her. Experts have emerged to say shaken baby syndrome has been discredited and that Robertson should not be put to death. But in its filing, the state says the courts have already gone over this, but even removing shaken baby syndrome from the argument, the girl actually died from multiple blunt force injuries and that Robertson has been shown to be a violent man. Supreme Court usually rules on day of death penalty cases late in the day.
And state legislators voted yesterday to subpoena Robertson. It's unclear what impact the subpoena will have on his scheduled execution. Officials have no new information following the third day of searching for a missing woman in Southeast Bexar County landfill. San Antonio police assisted Almas Park police yesterday in the ongoing search at the landfill in an effort to find out what became of Suzanne Clark Simpson. She was last seen a week ago Sunday. Her husband, Brad Simpson, was arrested last week on charges of domestic violence and also faces a federal weapons charge. Well, a nonstop flight to the nation's capital is finally coming to San Antonio.
American Airlines says they got approval from the U.S. Department of Transportation yesterday to start nonstop flights from San Antonio to Washington, D.C. The Fort Worth-based carrier has not announced when the flights from San Antonio International Airport to Reagan National Airport will commence, but is expected to in the next few months. The federal decision was applauded by Airport Director Jesus Saenz, Mayor Ron Nierenberg, Congressman Joaquin Castro, and Texas U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Texas police want to make it illegal for protesters to wear face masks. DPS Lieutenant Ralph Olin says they're not doing it to prevent the spread of COVID.
Has become commonplace, especially among professional agitators from groups such as Antifa, to protect themselves from apprehension.
He says they're still trying to track down more than a dozen people who were involved in pro-Palestinian protests on the campus of UT Austin. Some assaulted cops when one tried to grab an officer's gun. Banning massive protests is something that other states have already passed. Louisiana did it for Mardi Gras to cut down on crime. The former lead singer of the UK pop boy band One Direction has died at the age of 31. Local reporting in Argentina says he died after falling from the third floor of a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires and was acting erratically at the hotel before emergency services were called to the location, later confirming his death. One Direction is one of the most popular groups of all time, having sold over 70 million records worldwide before going on a hiatus in 2016. It is 8:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Charlie Parker is in the building. He'll join us at 8:20. He'll bring us Parker's picks, college football picks for the weekend, and also his thoughts on the upcoming Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions this Saturday. Joe Pags from the Joe Pags Show with a preview of his show, and Aaron Real moments away talking about the most and least politically involved states in the nation. First, your traffic and weather together.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, highs in the low to mid 80s. And then on Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, highs in low to mid 80s. It is 54 degrees in Leon Valley, 54 in Monte Vista, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 8:10.
San Antonio's first news. If you're listening, you are a news talk radio listener, so you are probably politically engaged and politically involved, but not everybody across the country is. National correspondent Aaron Real has been looking into this. Aaron, what do you know about the most and least politically involved states in America?
Well, I know that WOAI listeners are not low information voters. They are high information voters. But Texas overall, you guys come in number 32 when it comes to political engagement. I know, I was surprised by that. I was really surprised by that. But this whole thing kind of surprised me because I thought also like Iowa would probably be high up, or New Hampshire, like the caucus states where it just was like exciting, like things happen. Turns out not so much. The most politically engaged states, crunched by Wallet Hub, they looked at percentage of people who voted in recent elections, political contributions, voter registration stats, all of that. And I'll give you the top 10. Number 1, Maryland, Virginia, Jersey, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Minnesota, California, Arizona, New York. And it turns, I was like, whoa, really? And I guess the Maryland, Virginia are like around DC, is that it? But then you have Oregon and you have Jersey, and it's apparently Maryland, let's just look at that because it's the most politically engaged state. It requires civic education in schools, and it makes it very easy to vote. And it turns out you educate the population and you make it easy to vote, and they vote. There's almost a direct correlation between the level of educational attainment and the state's enthusiasm and engagement in voting. That's right there. And then also in Maryland, they have early voting. They have no excuse absentee voting. They have online registration. They have same-day registration. And this one blew my mind. I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently, they allow young people as young as 16 to pre-register to vote. I don't know about you guys, but if I was in a civics class and like half tuned out and someone's like, you can register now. You can't do it yet. Can't do it yet. You have to wait till you're 18, but you can register now. That would pique my interest. And I think just like having a fundamental understanding of like the fact that voting is a right and a privilege. And as a lady, I didn't even get it to the beginning of the 19th century. Like this is like something that is great, and we should be more engaged.
Aaron, what about states that are reliably red or blue? Do you think that's a factor in why people may think their vote doesn't matter?
Yeah, listen, I would think theoretically, but it seems like a lot of like if you look at Arkansas, Alabama, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Indiana, these are all the least politically engaged states, which are like, what? But they're so red. Like they're always talking about it, and you know there's lawn signs everywhere. That doesn't mean they vote. Fascinatingly, when you look at like the registered, like a lot of them talk about it, but actually being registered to vote, maybe not as many.
Our thanks to national correspondent Aaron Real. She's a big part of our Election Central coverage. We will continue to bring you team coverage now until the president is elected. November 5th is Election Day. Lots more coming up. Charlie Parker joins us in just a moment. WOAI News Time 8:13. Charlie Parker is in studio. We'll talk to him in a flash. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
Harris and Trump continue their nonstop campaigning with stops in critical battleground states. Texas lawmakers have subpoenaed a death row inmate ahead of his execution scheduled for this evening, and the search continues at a southeast side landfill for a mother who's now believed to be dead. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy, highs in the low to mid 80s. And on Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. It is 54 degrees at the Snake Farm, 53 in Von Ormy, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:19.
San Antonio's first news. Charlie Parker is in studio. And Charlie, among other things, there's a special birthday coming up.
Big birthday today for my oldest daughter, Kayla.
Happy birthday, Kayla.
Happy birthday, Kayla.
Turns 41.
You have a 41-year-old child?
I have a 41-year-old child. Yes, I do. By the way, for any of you parents who are taking your children to school this morning, and they have Miss Fonger for PE. She loves Butterfingers.
Ooh.
She loves Butterfingers.
Does she really, though?
You're going to get a bunch of Butterfingers is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm hoping for. All right, let's get to the sports weekend for you. Baseball, LCS Game 4s today. Yankees at Cleveland, Dodgers at Mets. New York and LA both up 2 games to 1. NFL Week 7 begins tonight, Thursday night football. You will just find something else to watch. The 3-3 Broncos are taking on the 2-4 Saints.
Ooh.
Cowboys have a bye this weekend, so we know they will not lose.
Thank God.
Texans are at Green Bay. That should be a good game on Sunday. College football, UTSA homecoming against Florida Atlantic in the Dome, 2:30 on Saturday. Game of the week, no question about it. Number 5, Georgia in Austin against number 1, Texas.
Hook 'em.
Yeah, that will be Saturday night at 6:30. Number 7, Alabama's at number 11, Tennessee. Number 14, Texas A&M is at Mississippi State. Parker's picks last week, I was 2-1.
Cool.
Which means I'm now 14-7 overall. Cal screwed up me going 3-0.
Man.
Cal missed a field goal.
Yep.
They were down 2 points to Pitt. They missed a field goal that would have won the game. It wasn't a chip shot, but it wasn't.
It was makeable.
Yeah.
Well, except for this kicker.
Well, yeah.
I didn't find out until when it happened. This kicker for Cal is 7 of 16.
Oh man.
How's he still on the team?
Awful. No, that's
You
bad.
can't find a kid in California that plays
soccer player,
that
yeah.
can kick a football. 7 of 16.
Now, the
Why
guy
would
that
you
was-
even send him out onto the field to kick?
Good question.
Look up that guy on College Game Day last week, man. He nailed a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, that
was a pretty good kick.
Well, I think was it Saban holding the ball?
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
that
Well, he
never
blamed
hurts.
the miss on the first one on Saban holding the ball, but then he made the second one.
All right. Parker's picks this week. I'm taking number 25 Navy to go 6-0 as they host Charlotte. I'm taking number 60. Sorry, Woody. I'm taking number 16 Indiana to go to 7-0 by beating 5-1 Nebraska. And right up the road, there's a team of Bobcats called Texas State. They're on the road at Old Dominion. I'm going to take the Bobcats.
Nice.
Wow. By the way, the first college football playoff committee rankings will be out Election Day.
Okay.
The same day we elect the next president, they'll release their first poll. That's November 5th. And speaking of voting, Sunday night, Cleveland, Ohio, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the class of 2024. If you plan on watching that, that will be on Disney Plus at 6 p.m. Your 16 inductees include, let's start with the performers category, and even in the Musical Excellence Award and in the Musical Influence Awards being given out, we all know some of these people deserve being in and some of them don't. In the performer category, Ozzy Osbourne.
Of course.
Yes.
Cher.
Yes.
Mary J. Blige.
Sure.
Seeing a head shaking.
I'm going no.
Sure.
I'm going no.
Tim says no on Mary J.
Dave
Blige.
Matthews Band.
No.
Yes.
I'll go. Yeah.
Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
Should have been in.
Yes.
So you feel like we do.
Yeah, a long time ago. Foreigner, finally.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool in the Gang.
Oh, yeah.
And A Tribe Called Quest. Not so much. Musical Excellence Award. Dionne Warwick.
Yes.
She knew she was going to get that.
Songwriter, producer Norman Whitfield should have been in long. How long's it been since we heard Temptation songs?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. MC5 doesn't belong. And Jimmy Buffett does.
Should have already been
Unfortunately,
in,
I
yes.
think it's because he died last Labor Day in 2023.
Yeah.
And that's why he's there. But hey, you can't argue against
So Jimmy Buffett himself is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a travesty. The poor guy died. He's an icon.
Yeah.
And I think they should have done that before he passed away.
Speaking of that kind of situation, did you read the thing when Louis Tiant passed away either late last week?
Very recently, yeah.
Yeah. Made the statement, if you Hall of Fame voters aren't going to vote me in while I'm alive, do not vote me in when I die.
Wow.
And they haven't, and they weren't going to anyway because he wasn't Hall of Fame material, but he was a damn good pitcher. And in the Musical Influence Award, one of the three people getting in is the late John Mayall.
Oh,
who just passed away a couple of months ago. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'll watch Georgia and Texas.
Yes.
Instead of the Rock and Roll. Yeah, you can watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later.
Yeah.
Later that night
or next day or next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
By the way, that young lady I talked about that's having a birthday today, I think I'm going to be in the vicinity of her
for the
when
UT
Texas
game
plays Georgia, and it's man
Gonna get rowdy.
Yes, yes, it will. It's already rowdy.
Spurs, Cowboys, Texas. I cannot be within the sound of Kayla's voice. She's out of control. Out of control. I told a guy at the car wash the other day, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but I told him, if you're ever at a sporting event and there's a woman making so much noise that you are thinking to yourself, I have never heard a person make this much noise ever. That's my daughter.
And say hi to her for me.
And today is her birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Kayla.
She loves Butterfingers.
Get her some Butterfingers for crying out loud. Parker's picks will be posted at WOAI.com. In case you're in your car, you didn't write them down. You can go find them at WOAI.com. Lots more coming up. We're going to pick a winner for La Hacienda. $50 gift card for OpelkaCon. WOAI News Time, 8:27.
8:33 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, with 19 days to go, Trump and Harris make their pitch to undecided voters and the latest developments in the search for a missing mother. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday, partly cloudy, a high near 80, tonight's low near 60, right now 58 degrees. The presidential election's growing closer and the race remains tight. Fox's Bret Baier sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris, who refused to explain why Americans were dissatisfied with the Biden-Harris administration, instead directing Baier to Trump's rhetoric during his 3 runs for the presidency.
If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
Meantime, former President Trump focused on safety at an all-women town hall in Georgia with Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Former President Trump told female voters in Cummings, Georgia, the Border Patrol has endorsed him.
Law enforcement's with me 100%, and we have to keep our community safe.
He was asked by one grandmother what he'll do to keep transgender women and girls out of female sports.
Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban it. The president bans it.
He promised one mother that he'd end so-called sanctuary cities.
I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out.
He confirmed his belief that a bigger problem than foreign adversaries is what he called the enemy within, namely Democrats who label him a threat.
They're the threat to democracy.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has declined to commute a death sentence in a case that's drawing national attention. Robert Robertson of Anderson County is scheduled to be executed tonight for the 2002 capital murder of his 2-year-old daughter. His conviction was based on the now debunked shaken baby syndrome theory. Attorney Jane Future of the Innocence Project notes a Texas House committee yesterday spent hours talking about an 11-year-old law that says when there's a change of science, that person should get a new trial.
And yet, the Texas courts have not granted Mr. Robertson a new trial or even allowed for a hearing where that evidence can be heard.
And those familiar with the case say the toddler died of 2 types of pneumonia. A petition is pending at the U.S. Supreme Court, and Governor Abbott has the power to grant a 30-day stay. Meantime, state legislators voted to subpoena Robert Robertson. It's unclear what impact that will have on his scheduled execution. And the search for a missing San Antonio mother and realtor is entering its 11th day. Eric Lycom has the latest.
Authorities confirm the search for Suzanne Clark Simpson is now a recovery effort as police continue to search for clues at a southeast Bexar County landfill. They believe they have the best chance to recover her body there. The husband, Brad Simpson, remains jailed in Bexar County on domestic violence and federal weapons charges and is still refusing to cooperate with police. His brother, Barton Simpson, speaking out on social media, says that's unacceptable and that the family is cooperating for him as they have been from the beginning. Barton Simpson says, quote, "This is not how we were raised and this is not who we are. Our parents instilled in us the values of honoring and protecting others, and they are truly remarkable people," unquote. The investigation continues. Eric Lycom, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
And a San Antonio police officer has finished a long run across Texas to support families of law enforcement officers who died while on duty. Detective Benjamin Garcia began his 800-mile journey in Amarillo late last month. He ended it at the police memorial in McAllen yesterday. Through his efforts, Garcia has raised $8,000 for a group called Concerns of Police Survivors. It is 8:38. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money and the world of business. John Tucker is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, John. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news are thanks to Charlie Parker. Parker's picks will be posted at WOAI.com. Right now, let's check in with Joe Pags from the Joe Pags Show. He's got a lot of reaction to Kamala Harris's interview yesterday on Fox News. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, it was much anticipated after we found out it was going to happen. I wasn't sure it would happen, but the Bret Baier and Fox News interview with Kamala Harris went down, and it was pretty contentious. It was shorter than it was expected to be. Her answers were very direct, but also very generic, and Bret Baier tried to hold her feet to the fire. Many people think he did a great job. Those who support Harris said that she did a good job. We're going to break it down and give you my opinions after we play you some of the sound bites that were most important to those voting in America this coming November. Also, Sam Sorbo is going to be on the program. She, of course, is an educator. She's a television host and a whole lot more. That's today at 5, the Joe Pags Show, News Radio 1200, WOAI. See you then.
See you then, Joe. The Joe Pags Show, 5 to 8 p.m. today and every weekday right here on 1200 WOAI. Well, we are still getting the talkbacks. We are asking you today why you want to go to OpelkaCon a week from today at La Hacienda de los Barrios on Redland Road. And we got a $50 gift card to give away today. And Mr. T, we got more coming in.
Yeah, we got a pair of mics. Here's the first one.
Mike on the north side here. I've been a political junkie my entire life. Part of that probably has to do with the fact that I was born on election day in 1963. And as it turns out, my birthday is election day this year. I'll turn 61. And I can think of no better gift than to hang out with you all, Mike Opelka, that's easy to say, at the head table. I don't even need the gift card. I just want to pick Mike's brain. Been a fan of his since he was at the Blaze. Been a fan of you since I moved to San Antonio. And I'd be forever grateful.
That's a very nice case that he made.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
All right, here's our other mic.
Good morning, San Antonio First News. Why should I receive OpelkaCon tickets? 1, I'm a big fan of WOAI and Michael Opelka. 2, to give my gorgeous wife a chance to show off one of her stunning hats, which is one of her many talents. She's a milliner. And while we have dined at Los Barrios on Blanco several times, we've never dined at La Hacienda de Los Barrios. So this will give us a chance to have an opportunity to have good company, good food, good libations, and good memories.
That's good.
Another very, very good one. I like that one too. Ooh, this is
it's
going to
getting
be tough
now. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to try to narrow it down to 3 to vote.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break. We'll
Put
get
our
you
heads
caught up.
together.
Yes, we'll put our heads together, narrow it down to 3, get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather, and then we will pick a winner. $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios. And of course, you can use it a week from today at OpelkaCon. WOAI News Time, 844. We're going to pick a winner for La Hacienda de los Barrios and OpelkaCon. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
The focus is on undecided voters as Trump and Harris ramp up their campaigning. San Antonio International finally scores its long fight for a nonstop flight to D.C. and a last-ditch effort to save the life of a death row inmate whose execution is set for tonight. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Mixture of clouds and sun today, highs right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy, highs in the low to mid 80s. And then on Saturday, sun in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, highs in low to mid 80s. 54 degrees in China Grove, 53 in Castroville, and 54 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:50.
San Antonio's first news. Our thanks to Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, making the entire broadcast go today. Our thanks to Charlie Parker in studio earlier this hour. He, among other things, made his Parker's picks for the weekend. We'll get those posted at WOAI.com. Now, this is hard because they're all so good. Even narrowing it down to 3 was difficult,
tough, yes.
Much less picking one for a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios and a seat at the Opelka table, the VIP table. Sadly, we have to pick one. If you don't win, though, we'll do this again tomorrow.
Yes.
So you got another shot tomorrow, and you might have a shot next week as well.
Yes.
Is what we're saying. So,
yes.
Mr. T, the final 3.
Here is number 1, RK.
Yep, RK here. All right, let's get serious. What would Opelka-thon be like without Mr. Opelka? I love Opelka. Y'all love Opelka. But sometimes you get trumped by the hugging booth. That's just the way life is. Be there or be square. Except for y'all with a legitimate excuse, Miss K. Bye, y'all.
Now, I like what he did there. He
Yes.
said get trumped by the hugging booth. That was an homage to Charity, and he used the term Trump, which
Yes.
was very clever.
Very, very clever.
Right.
All right, here is Nick.
Hey, y'all, this is Nick. Let's be honest. Winning the Mike OpelkaCon tickets for the VIP table and the gift card, I would be able to hold it over my boss, some of my coworkers, but most importantly, my father-in-law, who I do like, but conservative like myself, that would be such a prestigious honor that I can continue to use at holiday parties until generations to come.
I like it.
That's a good one.
Very good,
That's
Nick.
a good one. And finally, Mike.
Mike on the north side here. I've been a political junkie my entire life. Part of that probably has to do with the fact that I was born on election day in 1963. And as it turns out, my birthday is election day this year. I'll turn 61. And I can think of no better gift than to hang out with you all, Mike Opelka, that's easy to say, at the head table. I don't even need the gift card. I just want to pick Mike's brain. Been a fan of his since he was at the Blaze. Been a fan of you since I moved to San Antonio. And I'd be forever grateful.
Wow. Mike makes a great case as well, and he remembers Mike Opelka dating back to his work at the Blaze. Wow. So, all right, this is going to be, how do we pick a winner here? I like all 3.
So do I.
How do we pick a winner?
I don't know. We let Charity go first, though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Charity,
Arcade,
no pressure.
Nick or Mike?
I like Election Day Baby Mike. I'm going to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though RK sided
Yeah.
with Charity
Don't make
McCurdy.
me second guess myself, Chris.
Mr. T, are you next or am I next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
And see, I like Nick because we're giving him something to use at holiday parties for future generations.
Wow. Okay. I found it a 3-way tie. I hate, and by the way, if you don't win, Do it again tomorrow. You got a good shot tomorrow. So please, anybody who doesn't win, do it again. It's a tough one because Mike remembers Opelka way back at the Blaze. That gives him the slight edge over Nick and RK to me. So I'm going to go with Charity and pick Mike. And that's going to make Mike our winner.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Can't wait to meet you.
Yeah. Now, Nick, RK, and anybody else who wants to win a $50 gift card to La Hacienda de los Barrios, we're going to do this again tomorrow. You can play again tomorrow.
And keep in mind, everyone is invited, all of our listeners. This is just for those $50 gift cards for La Hacienda.
And the VIP table.
Yes. So
correct.
2 to 4 next Thursday at La Hacienda de los Barrios off 1604 and Redland Road. We hope everybody comes.
Thanks for the clarification. Exactly. It's a free event. Obviously, if you want some spectacular Mexican food, you got to pay for that, but it's well worth it. It's the best Mexican restaurant in town, as far as I'm concerned. So tomorrow, we'll do it again. A big show tomorrow. Randy Beamer and Tangi Patton is celebrating a big anniversary. She'll join us on that tomorrow as well. Coming up, Glenn Beck with his program. Before that, Charity with all the big stories on this Friday Eve. But right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time, 8:55.
All right, everybody have a great day.
Adios.
We will talk to you tomorrow.
Muchachos. Tangi